Just like a lot of kids that grow up in the islands, I love sports. Not a lot of people know, but my first sport that I ever played was soccer because back then they didn't have, big boy football leagues where, there was no limit on how much you could weigh. So, my first sport ever was soccer. It's through somebody that coached at a soccer team that was from my church at that time. So I jumped on and man, I loved being a part of a team. I played soccer, wore the short shorts, didn't care, no judgment, but I just had fun. And as time went about, I continue to just have this love and passion for sports. Soccer turned into me starting to play basketball in the seventh grade, and along this process of me playing other sports, I really kind of embraced that team, that family, because like I said, I feel like I was, at that time I was like the only sibling because my siblings were a lot older than me, but my true passion is football. And I'll explain why. When I was in intermediate, I was kind of a knucklehead in intermediate. I think I was just misguided. I don't know if misguided is the correct word, but, I kind of was just a Kalohe kid in intermediate. And, at that time, kind of hung around maybe the wrong crowd. I look back and actually, I shouldn't say the wrong crowd, but, we were just young, just kind of doing a lot of stuff, kids from the housing. But some of them are some of my closest friends today, and I look back, man, they always had the biggest hearts, regardless of what they did and didn't have. But anyways, as I went through intermediate, definitely was, going through some struggles, kind of finding, I guess my identity, finding who I really was. And just like a lot of, I guess, youth out there that go through this, that 13, 14, 15-year-old stage, finding who you are and what you can be, cemented and planted in, right? And have confidence. Until I found football. When I walked into, my first football practice, I never could play football. I was that big kid that bought football jerseys when I was young, tried to just tag along, always throwing football outside. But when I stepped into my first practice, I knew, like, man, I loved it. Just like the adrenaline, the feeling, being able to hit somebody as hard as you can without getting in trouble. But it's just all those things that really just, attributed to this love that I found. Like I found my own thing that I could do, and I actually was good at it, And when I say I was good at it, I wasn't super talented. I was blessed to be able to be a bigger kid. I was taller, had enough size. But athletically, like it was something that I wasn't afraid to put the work in, and playing football gave me so much opportunities. I had a great freshman year as a junior varsity player. Went on to play varsity on my sophomore year. Just like everybody else, you're the young cat or the small fish in the big pond. There's a lot of things that you have to adapt to and adjust to. So I took my growing pains. I took some cracks on the chin, as you would say, but I still continue to have this drive and this passion to just want more. And then my junior year came, had a great junior year for IL, great senior year. And, went to a football camp at University of Nebraska, went to do the University of Hawaii football camp. And just being able to meet other people from other schools was just such a great, atmosphere for me. Like I just truly loved it, just meeting all these other players. And, when you go through the season, as you play, you hear certain names. And when you get to camps and you get to come together, you kind of know like, oh, that's that stud or that's that dude from that school and whatever. But, I was fortunate enough to have a great high school career. And I was blessed to, take my talents and my playing abilities to the University of Hawaii, which is something that I continue to just always be grateful for because it gave me such a great opportunity. It gave me, networks, opportunities, helped me with my career now. But, being at the University of Hawaii during that time, I was a kid that grew up from, elementary, going to the stadium with my dad, with my mom, with my family. In that time, the stadium was packed. Like, I mean, we're talking about toilet papers from the top, confetti just flying all over the place, no parking. You got to park in ditches and just find all these places because Hawaii football was everything. And, as you grew up in the islands, that was something that you just took to heart. Like, man, when I get older, like, I want to represent the home team. And I was blessed to be able to do that.